What if I told you Harley Davidson once built a war machine that stormed through Europe, then turned around and crafted a bike with cowhide saddlebags? That it went from chrome-soaked cruisers to GPS-loaded dirt warriors? And somehow, every single one still felt unmistakably Harley? This isn't just a countdown of great motorcycles. It's a journey through rebellion, reinvention, and raw American spirit. From battlefields to boulevards, we're diving into 15 of the greatest Harley Davidsons of all time. And trust me, by the end, you'll see Harley in a way you never have before. Number 15, the Harley Davidson Street 750. In 2014, Harley Davidson did something unheard of. It broke ranks with its own past. After years of coasting on chrome and nostalgia, the Street 750 rolled out like a quiet revolution. Liquid-cooled, lightweight, and built not just for the open road, but for the chaos of real-world streets, tight alleys, hot traffic, and a generation that didn't care about tradition. No overpolished chrome, no bloated price tag, just purpose-built rebellion. At its heart, a 749 cubic centimeter Revolution X engine, liquid-cooled, belt-driven, and ready to take heat. Literally and figuratively, it wasn't just a different Harley, it was a smarter one. Nimble in corners, honest on the throttle, and under 500 pounds. With ABS and a 6-speed transmission, it was everything younger riders were asking for. Finally, built in Kansas City and Bhopal, India, the Street 750 was Harley's passport to the world, a shot at markets that had never heard the rumble before. It wasn't perfect. Early models felt rough, and purists missed the old-school thunder. But what it offered was more important. A new kind of Harley, one that didn't cling to the past, it challenged it. The Street 750 bowed out in 2020, but its message still echoes. You don't need a $20,000 beast to ride like a badass. But the next Harley on this list, it didn't whisper change, it marched into war. Number 14, Harley Davidson MT350E. Not every Harley struts down Main Street in chrome and swagger. Some earn their stripes in mud, under fire, and deep behind enemy lines. Meet the MT350E, Harley's military-grade outlier. No flair, no flash, just grit. Originally a British Army workhorse, the Armstrong MT500, it was refined by Harley in the early 90s into a machine built to survive the worst. A 348cc Rotax single-cylinder engine, electric and kickstart, air-cooled, carbureted, and nearly unkillable. No screens, no chrome, just function. It wore Italian Marzocchi 40mm forks, a British Girling rear shock, and a hybrid brake system with Japanese Nissan front calipers and British AP Lockheed rear calipers. A purpose-built fusion of Austrian Rotax power, British military frame design, and Harley Davidson's final assembly for NATO forces. It wasn't built for dealerships. It was built for missions. It carried rifles, hauled gear, replaced trucks. And when its military duty ended, it found new life with couriers, commuters, and riders who needed reliability more than reputation. The MT350E didn't sell rebellion. It served a purpose. A two-wheeled Land Rover in every sense. Rugged, reliable, and ready. In a lineup of loud legends, the MT350E stayed quiet, but its legacy, loud as hell. And in doing so, it secured its place in Harley history, not as a cruiser, but as a conqueror. But from the battlefield to the boulevard, the next Harley didn't wear combat boots. It wore class, low-slung, lean, and timeless like a black and white movie. If the MT350E was a warhorse, this one's a bobber from a dream. Minimalist, soulful, and born to rebel without raising its voice. Number 13, Harley Davidson Softail Slim. Some bikes beg for attention. The Softail Slim doesn't. It owns it. Born in 2012, this stripped-down cruiser didn't arrive with flashy tech or bloated styling. It came with an attitude, distilled. A tribute to the post-World War II bobbers, it brought back the raw, rebellious spirit of American motorcycling and somehow made it feel new again. Low-slung, narrow, and brutally clean, the Slim isn't built to impress showroom crowds. It's built for the road. And it doesn't just sit there, it lurks, like it's waiting to be ridden hard. Older models rumbled with the twin-cam 103B. Newer versions, the Milwaukee 8107 or 114. More power, more torque, and just enough modern engineering to keep things smooth without softening the soul. What sets it apart isn't just the silhouette or stance, it's how it feels. Confident, timeless, and stripped of anything it doesn't need. No fluff, no fuss, just steel, throttle, and a whole lot of swagger. Loved by veterans and first-timers alike, the Softail Slim proves that simple can still hit like a hammer. But if this was Harley at its most classic, what happens when Harley stops looking backward and charges full speed into the future? The next bike didn't just follow tradition, it burned them. Critics called it a gamble. Riders called it a revolution. Its GPS, gadgets, and grid, built to blaze trails, not just highways. Number 12, Harley Davidson Pan America 1250. The Pan America 1250 didn't just arrive. It exploded onto the scene. In 2021, Harley Davidson entered the adventure bike world, and most people laughed. A cruiser brand in dirt boots? It sounded like a marketing stunt. But then riders twisted the throttle, and the doubt vanished. This wasn't a rebranded cruiser, it was Harley reborn. At its core, the Revolution Max 1025. A liquid-cooled V-twin delivering 150 horsepower and torque for days. It revved like a sport bike, hit like a sledgehammer, and finally pulled Harley into the performance century. And the tech? Game-changing. Adaptive ride height that drops at a stop, semi-active suspension, lean-sensitive A-beams, ride modes, heated grips, touchscreen, Bluetooth, cruise, everything ADV riders demand, but with that signature Harley punch. It wasn't pretty in the traditional sense. It was bold, industrial, ready, and the result? The Pan America 1250 didn't just silence the critics, it dominated. Harley Davidson officially confirmed that the Pan America 1250 Special was the best-selling adventure touring motorcycle in North America in 2021. Every single unit from its first-year run sold out. This wasn't just a gamble that paid off. It was Harley proving it could still surprise us. Not by leaning on nostalgia, but by carving a new path forward. Because sometimes greatness doesn't come from reinventing everything. It comes from something smaller, simpler, familiar. And the next Harley on our list didn't need to redefine the brand. It was the brand. Built for the people, ridden by the people, and loved for over 60 years. This one isn't just iconic, it's personal. Number 11, Harley Davidson XL Sportster. Since 1957, the Sportster hasn't just been a bike, it's been the bike. Born as Harley's answer to the British invasion, the Sportster came out swinging. Light, fast, and unapologetically raw, it introduced a new kind of American performance. The Ironhead engine snarled, the frame was tight, the attitude, pure rebellion, and it never looked back. From the bare-bones 883 to the punchier 1200, from the XR 1000's race pedigree to the Iron 883's murdered-out cool, every generation kept that same fire burning. Gritty, affordable, and easy to make your own. But the Sportster isn't just metal and torque, it's a rite of passage. For decades, it's been the gateway into Harley culture. The first bike for countless riders, the one that taught you to wrench, ride, and rebel. And with more custom versions than any other Harley, it became the blank canvas of an entire subculture. It's been in movies, in memories, in every garage with dreams bigger than budgets. The Sportster is still here because it still matters. Stripped down, built tough, never out of place, no matter the year, the road, or the rider. The XL Sportster isn't just one of the greatest Harleys of all time, it's one of the most important motorcycles ever made. Stripped down, tough as nails, pure freedom on two wheels. And if you've made it this far, you're clearly one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and tell us in the comments, which Harley changed your life? Number 10, Harley Davidson FLH Electra Glide. In 1965, Harley Davidson changed touring forever with one bold move, the FLH Electra Glide. The first Harley to feature an electric starter, it took heavyweight freedom and made it accessible. No more kickstarts, no more compromise, just twist the throttle and go. But the Electra Glide wasn't just about convenience, it was built for the long haul, a machine that didn't just ride the highway, it owned it. From panhead beginnings to the rumble of the Milwaukee 8, the Electra Glide evolved across generations without ever losing its soul. The shovel head gave it edge, the EVO brought reliability, and today's models deliver torque, tech, and long-distance comfort in a way few bikes ever have. Its batwing fairing, introduced in the 70s, became a legend of its own, a symbol of wind-cutting dominance. Add in saddlebags, cruise control, ABS, and infotainment, and you've got a tourer that's more than a machine. It's a way of life. Police rode them, parades followed them, dreamers lived from them. For nearly 60 years, the Electra Glide has been Harley's thunderous answer to the open road. But now, forget tradition. The next Harley didn't come to rule the highway. It came to turn heads. Bold, bizarre, unforgettable. Number 9, Harley Davidson FLSTN. In 1993, Harley Davidson unleashed one of its wildest creations ever, the FLSTN Heritage Softail nostalgia. But most know it by a far more iconic name, the Moo Glide. Built to celebrate Harley's 90th anniversary, this bike didn't whisper nostalgia. It screamed it in black and white. With genuine Holstein cowhide on the seat and saddlebags, white wall tires, and chrome that could blind you at sunset, the Moo Glide looked like a cowboy jukebox on two wheels. It was a tribute to 1950s Americana. Bold, quirky, and unapologetically different. But beneath the diner booth styling was a serious machine. The Softail frame gave it that hardtail look with modern suspension, comfort. The 1340cc Evolution V-twin delivered reliable torque and a smooth ride, proving the Moo Glide had more than just looks. It had bite. Only 2,700 were built, and just 2,000 stayed in the US. That instant rarity, mixed with its outrageous style, turned the Moo Glide into a cult classic. It sold out fast, and decades later, it's still a collector's dream. Love it or not, the Moo Glide is unforgettable. Harley at its most playful, most nostalgic, and most collectible. But before Harley was playing dress-up in cowhide and chrome, it was suiting up for war. The next bike didn't ride for style. It rode for survival. It didn't show off in parking lots. It rolled into combat zones because before Harley built a collector's dream, it built a soldier's lifeline. This next one wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a mission. Number 8, the Harley Davidson WLA, the Liberator. This wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a weapon of freedom. The Harley Davidson WLA didn't roll off the line for showrooms or Sunday rides. It was built for war, forged in the fire of World War II, and sent into battle with a V-twin heartbeat and an American flag on its soul. Between 1939 and 1945, Harley produced over 70,000 of these military machines. Another run followed after the war, but its legend had already been sealed. Nicknamed the Liberator, the WLA was often the first Allied vehicle seen rolling into liberated European towns. Dust-covered, olive drab, and roaring like justice. It didn't just carry soldiers, it carried a symbol. Under the tank, a 45 cubic inch flathead V-twin, just 25 horsepower, but dependable enough to run on lousy fuel and tough enough to survive frontline hell. Springer forks, 3-speed handshift, foot clutch, no frills, no chrome, just grit. It didn't care about comfort. It cared about getting through the mud, the rubble, and the bullets. It had blackout lights for stealth, an oil bath air filter for desert storms, and the kind of simplicity that made battlefield repairs possible with a wrench and a prayer. After the war, these bikes came home with the men who rode them, chopped, bobbed, and reborn as street legends. The WLA didn't just serve, it inspired. and today it stands as a rolling monument to freedom, sacrifice, and the American spirit on two wheels. The WLA fought on foreign soil. It earned its legend through mud, oil, and sacrifice. But after the war ended, Harley had one more miracle to pull off: survival. So wait for the next Harley, a shapeshifter, a time bender, a motorcycle that fooled your eyes, but saved the brand. This wasn't just engineering, it was resurrection. Number 7, Harley Davidson FXST Softail. In 1984, Harley Davidson pulled off a magic trick, one that would reshape cruiser design forever. The FXST Softail didn't just roll out as another bike, it arrived like a time traveler. With the clean, rigid look of an old-school hardtail but hidden rear shocks tucked beneath the frame, it gave you vintage, cool, and modern comfort without making you choose. That secret sauce? A hidden suspension system originally dreamt up by engineer Bill Davis. Harley bought the design, refined it, and launched the Softail into the spotlight. The result was a low-slung, stripped-down machine that felt like it belonged in a 1950s outlaw movie, but rode like it belonged in the future. Its debut wasn't just about style, it marked the arrival of Harley's Evolution engine, a tough, oil-tight 1340 cubic centimeter V-twin that helped drag the company out of near bankruptcy and back onto the streets with swagger. Over time, the Softail platform became Harley's most flexible canvas. Fat Boy, Night Train, Springer, Heritage Classic. These weren't just bikes, they were icons in chrome and steel, and all of them shared the Softail's DNA. Even today, the 2024 Softail standard still carries the torch, now powered by the Milwaukee 8107, smoother, stronger, and louder than ever. The Softail isn't just a model, it's a movement, a 40-year love letter to riders who want timeless lines with real-world rideability. And in the story of Harley Davidson, it's a chapter that refuses to end. Softail rewrote the rules in the 80s, but the next bike, it wrote the first chapter, the origin story, hydraulic forks, panhead power, and the birth of the American cruiser. Number 6, Harley Davidson FLH Hydra-Glide. In 1949, Harley Davidson unveiled a game-changer, the FLH Hydra-Glide. It wasn't just another motorcycle, it was the blueprint for the American cruiser. The name Hydra-Glide came from its breakthrough, Harley's first ever hydraulic front suspension. Those telescopic forks replaced the old Springer setup and transformed the ride. Smoother, steadier, and more modern than anything before it. But that was just the beginning. Under the tank lived the newly refined 1,210 cubic centimeter panhead engine, complete with aluminum heads and hydraulic lifters. It wasn't just powerful, up to 60 HP, it was dependable, quiet, and built for the long haul. Riders could now cruise at 100 mph in comfort and style. The Hydra-Glide also kicked off Harley's golden age of touring. With optional saddlebags, chrome trim, and the king of the highway package, it turned cross-country riding into a cultural movement. Elvis rode one. So did countless veterans, rebels, and dreamers. It was the bike of post-war America. And in 2024, Harley brought it back. The Hydra-Glide revival is a retro masterpiece. Dressed in birch white and redline red with vintage badges and fringed leather, it's a time capsule on wheels. But beneath that nostalgic skin is a modern Milwaukee 8114 engine and a hidden rear monoshock Softail frame. Pure comfort, old school cool. Limited edition, collector grade, and built to honor a legend, the 2024 Hydra-Glide revival isn't just a motorcycle. It's Harley history reborn, from vintage elegance to unstoppable muscle. The Hydra-Glide was Harley's blueprint, graceful, historic, iconic. But in the 90s, Harley decided it was time to stop reminiscing and start intimidating. The next bike didn't ask for attention, it demanded it. Chrome wheels, industrial attitude, and a cinematic debut that made it a legend overnight. Number 5, Harley Davidson FLSTF Fat Boy launched in 1990. The Harley Davidson Fat Boy wasn't just a new model, it was a design revolution. With its steamroller solid disc wheels, silver gray ghost finish, and hulking stance, the Fat Boy broke every rule in the cruiser playbook. Designed by Willie G. Davidson and Louis Netz, it looked like nothing else on the road. Minimalist, industrial, and unapologetically American. Built on the Softail chassis, the Fat Boy offered the clean lines of a hardtail with hidden rear suspension comfort. Power came from the air-cooled Evolution V-twin, later evolving into the twin cam and today's Milwaukee 8114, with 119 pound-feet of torque and a frame optimized for modern performance. Then came Hollywood. In 1991, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator blasted onto the screen aboard a Fat Boy, backlit by flames and the sound of George Thorogood's Bad to the Bone. From that moment on, the Fat Boy wasn't just a bike, it was the bike. The Fat Boy helped reignite Harley Davidson's brand in the 90s, inspiring a new generation of riders and challenging rivals to step up. Over the decades, it's seen anniversary editions, seamless exhaust upgrades, LED lighting, and a refined suspension, all while staying true to its DNA. A symbol of rebellion, freedom, and brute style, the Fat Boy has outlived trends to become a timeless icon. More than a motorcycle, it's a heavyweight piece of American pop culture. And it's still going strong. The Fat Boy ruled the screen, but before Harley made blockbusters, it had to survive bankruptcy. The next bike wasn't flashy, it was functional. Blacked out, belt-driven, built for rebellion. And it didn't just ride, it rebuilt the brand. Number 4, Harley Davidson FXB Sturgis. The Harley Davidson FXB Sturgis wasn't just another motorcycle. It was a symbol of survival and reinvention. Launched in 1980 and produced until 1982, the FXB Sturgis introduced a game-changing feature: dual belt drive. It was the first production Harley to replace both the primary and final chain drives with aramid-reinforced belts. Smoother, quieter, and easier to maintain, the innovation worked so well that belt drives became standard across Harley's lineup. The B in FXB literally stood for belt, but its timing was just as important as its tech. In 1981, Harley-Davidson's leadership bought the company back from AMF, pulling the brand out of decline. The FXB became the face of that transition, a bold bridge between the AMF-controlled years and a rider-led renaissance. The 1981 model even wore a special emblem to mark Harley's rebirth. Stylistically, the FXB was pure defiance. Blacked-out engine cases, orange accents, and barely any chrome, echoing the rugged attitude of the Sturgis motorcycle rally it was named after. Powered by a 1337 cubic centimeter shovelhead V-twin, it delivered 56.5 horsepower and undeniable street presence. Rare, raw, and rebellious, the FXB Sturgis wasn't just ahead of its time. It helped save Harley from running out of time. But the next bike, it didn't just save the brand, it tried to redefine it. Co-engineered with Porsche, liquid-cooled, high-revving, a futuristic beast more Terminator than outlaw. Not built for tradition, built to shatter it. And that brings us into the top 3 greatest Harleys of all time, starting with the most radical of them all. Number 3, Harley-Davidson VRSK V-Rod. When Harley-Davidson unveiled the VRSK V-Rod in 2002, it wasn't just a new model, it was a rebellion against tradition. Co-engineered with Porsche, the V-Rod featured the revolutionary 1,131 cubic centimeter Revolution engine, Harley's first liquid-cooled DOHC 4-valve V-twin. It screamed to 9,000 RPM, cranked out 115 horsepower, later 125 horsepower, and hit harder than anything else in Harley's lineup. But it wasn't just the power. The V-Rod looked nothing like a Harley. With its stretched frame, drag-style bars, raked forks, and fat rear tire, it had more in common with a muscle bike than a cruiser. Chrome, alloy, and a hidden fuel tank under the seat added to the futuristic vibe. This was also the first Harley to feature electronic fuel injection, triple Brembo disc brakes, and a gear-driven primary. It didn't just look fast, it was. For 16 years, the V-Rod pulled in a new crowd, performance-focused riders who'd never considered a Harley before. It proved Milwaukee could do modern, aggressive, and fast, without losing soul. The V-Rod shattered expectations and earned its place among the top 3 greatest Harleys ever made. But long before liquid cooling and Porsche partnerships, Harley built something even faster and far more dominant. It didn't just challenge the competition, it buried them. This next bike didn't ride into dealerships. It rode straight into racing history and never looked back. Number 2, Harley Davidson KR 750. The Harley Davidson KR 750 wasn't just a race bike. It was the dominant force in American motorcycle racing for nearly 20 years. Built for AMA Class C competition, the KR 750 featured a 739 cubic centimeter side valve V-twin, a design rooted in the 1930s. Yet it ruled the track well into the 1960s. With up to 57 horsepower and speeds over 120 miles per hour, it defied expectations. Weighing just 320 pounds dry, it was light, fast, and incredibly agile. In road racing form, it boasted hydraulic forks and a swing arm rear suspension, giving it serious edge in both flat track and road race formats. From 1954 to 1962, the KR 750 won 9 consecutive AMA Grand National Championships and 13 overall. In 1956, it swept every Class C race. It also took 12 of 15 Daytona 200 wins between 1955 and 1969, the last Harley to do so. Riders like Joe Leonard and Carol Risweber turned the KR into a legend. Yes, it benefited from AMA rules favoring side valves, but dominance like this doesn't come from rules alone. It came from grit, engineering, and sheer performance. The KR 750 didn't just win races. It built Harley's legacy of speed, toughness, and American pride. The KR 750 conquered tracks and crushed records, but the #1 Harley, it didn't just win, it endured. Decade after decade, it roared through time, untouched by fads, unfazed by rivals. Up next, the machine that became Harley's soul on 2 wheels and still refuses to die. The Heritage Softail Classic, where past meets power. There are great Harleys, and then there's the one that defines what a Harley truly is. The FLH/FLST Heritage Softail Classic, introduced in 1986, is more than a motorcycle. It's a living time capsule with a roaring soul. With styling ripped straight from the 1950s, chrome-drenched fenders, wide handlebars, studded leather seats, and white wall tires, it oozes classic cruiser swagger. But beneath that vintage look lies modern engineering and muscle. Thanks to the Softail frame, it offers the nostalgic, rigid hardtail look while hiding suspension shocks under the frame, delivering comfort without sacrificing style. It began with the Evolution engine, moved through the twin cam years, and today roars with the Milwaukee 8117, a torque-rich powerhouse dressed in retro elegance. What makes the Heritage Softail Classic truly legendary is its longevity. Nearly 40 years of continuous production and passionate riders customizing and riding it, coast to coast. It's the perfect blend of soft and brutal, old-school charm, and new-age performance. The Heritage Softail Classic isn't just a tribute to Harley's past. It proves legends don't fade. They only grow louder. Every roar of the Heritage Softail Classic screams freedom, rebellion, and raw American pride. This isn't just a bike. It's a time machine on 2 wheels, blazing through decades of legend. And guess what? The ride's far from over. Smash that video on your screen next. It's loaded with more thunder, history, and heart. And if you're ready to ride deep into the world of legends, hit subscribe now.